Hi, welcome to the Idea to Launch show. My name is Lisa Zufall, and I am excited about season 2. Idea to Launch is a show about mompreneurs who are building their empire while still getting to soccer practice on time. As a mompreneur myself, I find it fascinating comparing notes with other mompreneurs, whether on health, family, business, or just some good old fun. So today we're going to get started with Julen. She is amazing, and I'm so happy to have her on the show with us. Julen is the founder of Finding Your Fiji. It is a Feng Shui expert and psychic. Kim is a certified Feng Shui practitioner, IFSG red ribbon practitioner. We'll find out more about that. And certified angel card reader. Angels and homes talk to her, and they always have helpful information to share. In 2017, Kim moved from Minnesota to Maui, sight unseen, to make her dream life a reality. Through her private coaching, Feng Shui consultations, and angel readings, Kim brings harmony to your head, heart, and home. I love that. She is passionate about helping you find your Fiji, whatever that may be for you. So welcome, Kim. I'm so glad you could join me today.
I'm super excited about this conversation.
Me too. So before we even get started, we have to do a weather check because it's snowing here. And so
oh my gosh.
I want to be part of your world for just the 30 minutes that we're together. So what's the weather like over there?
Yes, so it's gorgeous. It's 81 degrees this morning. It's typically a little bit cooler in the winter, so more like mid 80s instead of like 90s.
Yeah.
So it's actually just perfect. I actually enjoy the winter more than the summer even sometimes.
Wow, that's amazing. So we're going to get to your move from Minnesota to Maui. But before we started, how did you even get into this Feng Shui stuff and angel card readings? And how did you tap into all that?
I know. It's pretty fascinating. So the Feng Shui, I feel like I've instinctively been doing that since I was young, just because I always felt the energy in spaces. But what really led me to actually Feng Shui itself is when my husband and I years ago moved into a new house in Cottage Grove. We built this house. Really were excited about it, and things just were not going as well. Like, we had plenty of money coming in, but it was going at just as fast, or if not faster, out the back door.
I get that.
Yeah, right? Like, yeah.
We've talked about that.
We've talked about that, haven't we? And also just relationship-wise, things weren't going as well. There just were a lot of things. And so I was at the library, and I literally, I feel like I was led to a book. I like to say, people would say maybe you stumbled across the book, but I feel like I was led to it. A book on Feng Shui. And I started, it was, I believe, Change Your Life, or Move Your Stuff, Change Your Life, which I think I still have that copy of the book. And it was just a life shifter for me. So I started reading the book. I started making changes and dang if it didn't work. And it worked fast.
Wow.
Like, things shifted very fast. And so I was like a big fan after that. I studied on my own for a long time. So that was probably, let's see, we moved in that house in 1998. So that was maybe like 1999.
Wow.
And then just studied on my own for quite a number of years. And then finally got the certification in 2014.
I didn't even know you could get certified. How did you find out how to get certified?
There's a number of different schools, and actually the International Feng Shui Guild, the IFSG, has a lot of information about that. So if people are interested in that,
that's what the IFSG red ribbon practitioner is.
International Feng Shui Guild, and I'm actually on the board there now. I'm the membership director for the IFSG, but there's certifications all over the country. Like, you can get certified, and there's all types of different Feng Shui as well.
Okay.
The type that I got certified in is considered more of the Western version, which is, I feel like, easier for us to apply on our homes in the U.S. than the Western world because of the way things are set up. And I was certified through Wind and Water School of Feng Shui, which is actually in the Twin Cities. And it's a long process. Like, my course was a 10-month certification, and it was over 99 hours of training.
Wow.
So there is a lot more to Feng Shui than people realize. It's not just about
the
moving your
red
stuff.
water cup or
right.
or the red purse. We had a discussion about a red purse the other day.
We did. And I'm actually wearing red today, which I think is really funny.
I have my red water cup. So
Awesome.
why Feng Shui? I know it's big. I mean, I'm part Korean, so my mom, I don't know, she's never called it anything, but just the way that she arranges things and how she does things, it's very similar to what I've learned from you about Feng Shui. So I think that's
Yes.
really interesting. So what are some of the things? I know clutter is a big one for Feng Shui, right? Stuck energy and
Yeah.
all that
Yeah,
stuff.
and just to kind of let people know like what is feng shui first of all. There's to me and why it's important. We actually have three types of luck. So we consider our heaven luck, like when we were born,
Hmm.
astrology, like how the stars were aligned when we came onto the earth, right?
Yep.
I also believe that is part of our connection to divine, source, God, whatever you want to call that. I
Yep.
feel like that's also part of our heaven luck. And then we have earth luck, which is our environment.
Hmm.
And feng shui assists with helping create an environment that energetically supports you and the things that you want to do, be, and have in your life. So
Wow.
that's the second part of luck. The third part is your human luck, and that's the actions that we take, the
Yep.
things that we actually physically do. So since it's one third of our luck, I think it's pretty dang important.
Right. Oh, that's awesome. So let's talk about the red ribbon thing. And the reason why I want to talk about I don't know, when we first met, you had these, I want to call them ribbons, and they had some weird coin on them
Oh, yeah.
or a bell. That's part of Feng Shui, is it not?
Yes, it is. And actually, the red is significant because it is considered a lucky color or an auspicious color. So
Okay.
that's why we use red a lot in feng shui. And the ribbon, we typically use the ribbon for representing that red color
Mm-hmm.
as well as a length. So when I, for instance, would hang a bell on the door to my office, for example, to help bring in clients, I would hang that with a 9-inch red ribbon. And the nine is significant also in feng shui. We do a lot of things in nines, and as you know, with
Yeah.
the treasure box that we're doing is a multiple of nine. That's 27 days.
Yep.
And it is significant because it is the last number before they repeat again.
Mm-hmm.
It is about reaching new heights, and it's the number of success or completion. So it's really about like this is done. It's like setting the intention, like what I want, the intention of what I want is already done, which in the spiritual world it is, right? Anything that we want has already been completed. We just need to open up to be able to receive that.
That's amazing. Okay. So you've got this Feng Shui stuff. Am I pronouncing it correctly? Feng Shui or Feng
You're
Shui?
pretty close. It's feng,
Feng.
like as if it were a U, feng shui.
Feng Shui. Got it.
Yeah, and it actually means wind and water. So feng
I didn't know
shui
that.
means wind and water. It's really about balance and about balancing the energy in a space, but using the elements of nature to help balance the energy in spaces.
So I didn't know that. So that's awesome. So how does that tie in with your readings?
Yeah, so it's really fascinating to me how when I first started putting this business together and I kept getting guidance about like, you're going to be doing this, you're going to be doing this. And I'm like, how does this all fit together? Right?
Right.
Because it on the surface, it doesn't seem like it does, but the angel readings are really that connection with the divine. So that's our really like our heaven luck and
Yeah.
connecting with the divine, connecting with our higher wisdom,
Yep.
with our angels and guides helps us create the life that we want.
And then the physical part, the feng shui, right?
Mhm. Yes.
It
Yes, you
brings it
got it.
together so you get your spiritual and your physical.
Yes. And then I also work with the human aspect of things, the human luck, because I work with coaching. I work with a lot with mindset and limiting
Yep.
beliefs and
Yep.
things that, like physically in your physical self are holding you back.
You're like a powerhouse. So how
I'd
did
like
you
to think so.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so how did you know you had the gift of reading? I mean, because when
Oh, yeah.
we do stuff so I'm part of her treasure box and you guys will learn more about this a little bit later. But you do these readings and or talk about you're being led to do this or spirit is guiding you. What does all that mean to somebody who's new to that stuff?
Yes. Yeah. So when I was little, I have a distinct memory of seeing angels on the altar and talking to angels and having a really strong connection
Wow.
with them. But then as, time goes on, people don't believe you, like because they don't see them, they don't believe you. And so I really kind of, stopped seeing them.
Mm,
I never stopped connecting with them really. I always had a really strong connection, and my mom did too. My mom had angels all over her house. Like she had little angel figurines everywhere.
mm,
And so she had a really strong connection with angels as well. So I had that kind of throughout my life, but I really kind of reconnected with my spiritual team, what I like to call my spiritual team of
mm-hmm.
angels and guides. Back in, I believe it was about 2012. And I went actually to a Wayne Dyer event. He was interviewing Abraham. So if you're familiar with Abraham Hicks at all, Esther Hicks channels a non-physical collective called Abraham.
Okay.
So in any event, I was at an event, flew there for just basically overnight to California for this event. It was the only time that Dr. Wayne Dyer and Abraham were ever together on stage. And I think it's actually on YouTube probably now. The actual interview is out there. But I was at this event and super high vibe, super strong energy to the point where I could barely stay awake at the event. And then the next morning I woke up. My girlfriend was still sleeping. I woke up and I went out on the patio with my journal and just thinking I would journal and all of that. And literally, like, all of a sudden, I could hear my angels and guides like they were sitting right next to me, clear as a bell.
What?
Yeah, it
Wow.
was just, one of those things people talk about, like you have an event, and that was an event for me.
Yeah.
And they started telling me that I was also going to be channeling, similar to Esther, and all the stuff. And I'm sitting there sobbing, and I'm like, no,
Oh.
find somebody else. Like, I can't do this, right? Yeah, and so much as I tried to resist, I'm an Aries, so I'm kind of can be stubborn about things. So I tried to resist, but they weren't
Mm.
having it. And because I jokingly say that once they started talking to me, they haven't shut up since. They didn't stop talking to me. They didn't stop, nudging me and
Wow.
urging me and telling me, and guiding me, which is
Right.
really a beautiful thing. Like when you can hear the guidance, like so nice and clear,
Right.
it's amazing. And then it's just a matter of like actually following the guidance,
How
So
long did it take you to start following the guidance, do you think?
it was not too much longer when I would say it was probably a few weeks that I actually started doing some channeling. So I started out trying to write, and they're like, it's too slow. You need a recorder. I got a recorder and I started recording. I still have those
Wow.
original channeled messages. I've not done anything with them. I've not released them or anything like that. But
Wow.
yeah, so I kind of was just getting to know my team. And then after a while, it was just like I didn't need to actually do the channeling because I just felt connected all the time. So
Wow.
it wasn't like I had to like sit in a meditation to connect, although I
Right.
still do that for
Yep.
sure when I'm wanting specific guidance. And I do still meditate, obviously, because that helps me keep clearer.
Right. Well, everybody is supposed to meditate, right? I'm working on that.
Yeah, it's good. I still myself do better with guided meditations.
Yeah.
So, rather than just sitting my butt down in a chair and trying to be open, I do better with
Yeah.
guided stuff.
Yeah.
So that's just, what works for me. And I
Yeah.
think if
Me
you can
too.
find whatever works for you, sometimes it's maybe even just doing a walking meditation. Those are great too.
Oh, how do you do those?
You just basically you go for a walk in nature, no like headphones or anything like that,
Oh.
and just basically be noticing everything around you, like
Mm.
noticing the nature. You can even as you're walking be looking at a tree in the distance and just keep looking at that tree as you continue walking towards it, and then picking a new spot as you go along.
Wow. I didn't know that. I learn something from
Yeah.
you all the time. But I just have to go back because I started giggling when you were telling about how you were resisting it and the
Yes.
angels just kept coming at you and they didn't shut up. So the
Yep.
image that I got was from the movie Ghost. Remember Whoopi
Yes.
Goldberg?
Yes, I do. Yep.
And
Yeah,
so I
very
started
similar.
giggling because I could imagine you going, come on.
Yeah, exactly.
So funny.
Exactly.
Now you have kids.
I do. I have two boys. They are back in Minnesota. One just turned 25. I can't even believe I have a 25-year-old.
Wow.
It's so
Yeah.
crazy. And then my other son actually will be 22 in a week.
Wow. So you started this journey, you had small kids.
Yeah, my kids, I guess when I started actually doing, the channeling, the angel reading stuff, all of that kind of stuff, was really within the last 10 years. So they
Yeah.
weren't super little. They were
Right.
teenagers,
Did they ever
but
ask you
still.
for readings?
I try. It's so funny because I remember trying once to do one for my younger son,
Yeah.
and I just couldn't. I was too close to it. I couldn't do
Yeah.
it, and that was when I was newer at it.
Yep.
So I haven't really tried since. They haven't asked. I've definitely done some stuff for like friends of theirs or different things like that.
Right.
Yeah, it's an interesting thing, but sometimes when you're too close to it, it's kind of like trying to read for yourself at
Right.
times.
Right.
Sometimes you don't get the clear answers.
Right. So raising these, well, they would be teenagers, preteens, right? So raising
Yeah.
them, finding out that you have this gift and, you start doing readings for people and stuff. What was their reaction to it all?
They're pretty relaxed and chill about it.
Yeah.
And in fact, my younger son in particular will be he'll call me and he'll be like, "Yeah, can we talk?" And I'm like, "What do you want to talk about?" And he will say, "Well, I've got this going on and I just want to get your perspective." Or he'll say, "My friend has this going on and I know you know a lot more about this than I do. Can you talk to
Mm.
her?"
Oh, I love that.
Yeah, so he's really, and of course they're probably pretty psychic themselves too, although I don't know that they necessarily have fully tapped into the gift, but I'm guessing that they have that gift as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so they do get intuition, but they're pretty open about all of that stuff, and they're really, they don't mind hearing me talk about it. It's actually pretty
I
interesting for
love
them.
that. Oh, that's awesome. And so they're still here in Minnesota. Are they jealous that
Yes.
you're in Maui? Or are they planning to come
Um,
live with you?
well, secretly, my intention is that before they get married and have babies, that they will both move here.
Yes.
So I'm just putting that out there to the universe. My younger son has visited a couple times. He absolutely loves it here. He
Yeah.
really,
What's not to
yeah, he
love?
just really enjoys it. My older son's coming in February for a
Okay.
couple weeks. So, yeah, definitely when winter comes, they definitely would rather probably be
I think
here
we'd
than in
all rather
Minnesota.
be there.
Yeah.
But so what made you decide, you know what? I'm moving to Maui.
Yeah, that's such a big story. I'm actually writing a book about
I
that.
know.
Minnesota to Maui. So really I just kept getting signs. Oh, there goes my voice.
Uh-oh.
Excuse me, I'm just gonna take a little drink here.
That's all right.
Mhm. I always pay attention when that happens. When your voice, like you get a little cloggy in your throat
Yep.
chakra,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
It's a sign. It's a message like, ooh, this is something. And I share these stories a lot, but it's an interesting thing. So something for me to process later, right? About all of that. But yeah, I kept getting signs. So I kept getting like, I knew Minnesota wasn't my place. Like I just felt that the energy there felt a lot heavier for me.
Yeah.
And I don't love winter. So I knew for a long time that I wanted to move. And it
Right.
just, my boys were in school and different things like that. And it just wasn't, it wasn't the time.
Right.
And then I just kept getting signs, like within about probably 6 months before I moved, maybe 8 months. I was getting just nudges about Maui. And finally, I was like, it seemed pretty clear that I was meant to move here, even though I had never visited in my life, like never been to Maui. I've been to the Hawaiian Islands, Kauai
I
and Big
didn't know
Island,
that.
and yeah, and Oahu. Never ever stepped foot on Maui before I moved here. So, right? So talk
That's
about faith.
awesome.
It's like super faith. And so I was like, to my spiritual team, I'm like, okay, here's the deal.
Yeah.
If I'm really meant to move to Maui, I need a clear, like in your face
Right.
sign. And so they did. They gave it to me. Like the very next day, I get a package in the mail, and it was from somebody I didn't know. I was part of a Secret Santa sister exchange.
Okay.
And so it was a friend of a friend that sent it to me. No one at that time knew I was moving. Or thinking about moving, let alone to Maui, other than like
Right.
my BFF and my mentor,
Right.
had some inkling that this was coming up for me, but otherwise no one knew. And so I
Right.
get this package in the mail from a total stranger. To this day, still don't know who sent it. And there were gifts in the bottom, and they had cushioned them with some little handle bags, like little shopping bags. The first bag I pulled out was aqua blue and said Maui Divers Jewelry on it.
Wow.
I know. I'm like, okay, I got my sign. I still have the bag because it's like, okay, this is what got
Wow.
me here. I need to hang on to this, right?
It's so
Mm.
interesting because, I call them coincidences. And, spending time with you, I'm learning that there aren't coincidences,
There
right?
is no such thing. I call them synchronicities.
It's
So,
crazy. So
yeah.
you've just totally opened my eyes to that, especially when it came to the Treasure Box Club.
Yeah.
And I think we need to take a few minutes and talk about the Treasure Box Club because now there is a wait list.
Yes, there is a wait list. Yeah, I definitely had people that couldn't. I did just 17 for the initial focus group
Yep.
because this is the first time I've run it.
So much
And
fun.
so yeah, oh my gosh. And I had no idea, like this has a life of its own that I had no idea was gonna happen, right? So the treasure box is a super powerful feng shui adjustment. So this is something that I've done before. I used to, when I was in Minnesota, make little kits
Okay.
with all of the treasure box stuff, and then it was just a do-it-yourself thing. And the guidance that came in is that I was meant to do that again, but that I was meant to do it in a group format because when you do things in a group, it magnifies everything.
Mm,
And so it magnifies the results that people get. It magnifies the energy of it. So many good things happen with that. And it's a pretty lengthy process. It's 27 days. And some people are like, oh, dang, I can't do anything for 27 days. Like I
it
can't
has
even do the
gone
21-day
so
thing, right?
fast. So
Right? It's
fast.
gone so fast. We're already on day 20. It's crazy. Um, and it's helpful to have support along the way.
Yes.
So as you're going through it, to
Yeah.
have the reminders, which I do the text
Yep.
reminders. We have a private Facebook group where
Mm-hmm.
we all share the magic that's happening, even little tiny things like finding a parking spot. Like that is beautiful and
Right.
that is amazing. And
Right.
it's about really learning to see all the abundance in our lives
Right.
because we already have a lot of abundance. And it's about attracting more. So
Yep.
lots of feng shui tips, right?
Yep.
Lots of good things. I'd love to hear like what your favorite parts of it are.
My favorite part was before I even got the box, there were so many things happening, right? So who is my archangel is Jophiel,
Yes.
and
Yeah.
she is the organization lady.
Yeah. She's actually our feng shui angel also. But yeah, she helps with decluttering.
Before I even got the box, I was cleaning up the drawers in my bedroom. I was cleaning up my office. I was cleaning up my kitchen, organized. I was just like on an organizing mission. It was crazy. I was just like, I have to get this done.
Yes. And it's funny thing because the minute you sign up, the angels start working with you. So this happens to me all the time if people schedule a reading and then
Yep.
we'll get on the reading. They're like, well, I don't have that question anymore because I kind of got that answered. Now I have these other questions.
Right.
So they immediately start working on you. And the same thing with the treasure box.
So funny. Yeah, when I got it and I opened it up, there she was. And I'm like, are you kidding me? This is crazy.
Right?
So much fun. But there were so many things that happened even before I got the box. I can't remember them all now, but between clients and just, I don't know, really nice gifts and just crazy stuff. But what I've learned more than anything through the Treasure Box Club is it's not about, getting the check for $1 million. It's about enjoying and being thankful for all the gifts, because all day long we get gifts. All day long, right? And noticing all those gifts and being thankful for all those gifts. Whether it is a parking space or like this morning, my honey left me my case of Mountain Dew, right?
Yeah, right.
I mean, that's better than flowers for me. And it's those kinds of things that you just look at and you're like, wow, that's just incredible. That's so thoughtful. That's so amazing. I am so thankful. And that is the coolest part of all of it is just you helping me change the mindset around that. So it's not about the huge stuff. It's about enjoying all the little stuff. And it just compounds because you keep finding more and more things to be thankful for. Right?
Exactly. Yeah. And it's really that snowball that, as you start adding all the little things like you do when you're creating a snowball,
right,
and you get that ball rolling, that's where the momentum comes and the bigger things can come in too.
So much fun. A previous guest that I had on, a mutual friend of ours, Teresa Thomas, was talking about her 50 fun things. And she did mention a little something that there might be a retreat in Maui.
Yes, we're working on that. I know, it's so funny. We originally were thinking early 2019, but it looks like it's going to be more fall of 2019 is what we're looking at. So yeah, it's an interesting thing when you're spirit led too. So I really follow the guidance when I'm guided to do things. And I've got some legwork to do here on the island to check out some of the retreats places and that type of thing.
Right.
And I haven't been nudged to do that. So I'm like waiting for the nudge to come in as to when that's going to happen. But yeah, that is an amazing process, the 50 fun things too. And it just really, there's so many juicy things. And the retreat itself, actually, we're going to do a lot of exploring the island, because I'm not about like you're in a beautiful place and you're going to be sitting in a room all day.
No,
not happening.
You're in Maui. You've got to go explore and enjoy the ocean, because the one thing that I learned about the ocean is it's your own salt bath, and salt baths are good because
they clear your energy field. So your auric field, we collect a lot of junk from other people, from the collective consciousness, all of that. And the sea salt baths actually clear your energy field. So if you're ever feeling crappy, either emotionally or physically, get in a sea salt bath. 2 or 3 cups of sea salt with 3 tablespoons of baking soda. Soak for like 15-20 minutes with your neck in the water. So slide in.
And I had no idea about any of this stuff. So I hope this helped the audience learn a little bit on how to get that all together. The treasure box, there is a wait list, but if you are interested, it is so much fun. And it has been so powerful in just helping me change my mindset. I mean, there's been so many bonuses that have come along with that. I won't go into a whole lot of detail, but there's been some super amazing fun things that have happened to me in the course of 20 days. 20 plus because I was waiting for the box to come, but I just thank you for putting that together, listening to those guides and pulling that all together, because this has been so much fun. So for Kim's free gift, she has a 9 fast Feng Shui fixes to attract abundance, including a free color bagua. Did I say that right?
You did.
A mental map of your space, and I have my bagua chart sitting on my desk all the time.
Yes.
And a home energy number calculator. What is that?
So basically, each home you can calculate the energy of the space. Like, what type is it? A knowledge home? Is it a career home? Is it a partnership home? And the free gift gives you the way to calculate that, so you'll be able to figure that out.
Okay, there is a URL here. I will actually, because instead of reading it off, I'll just put the URL in the description below so you guys can click on that to grab your free gift. To sign up for the treasure box, the upcoming treasure box, to get on the wait list, what do they need to do, Kim?
That I will give you a link for that as well.
Awesome. And
There
anything.
is the information is available on my website. So if they go to finding your Fiji, FIJI.com,
Yep.
there is under the Feng Shui tab, there is a treasure box page. So they can also
Awesome.
find it there.
Awesome. Oh, so much good stuff. Thank you so much for taking time to chat with us and being on the show. I appreciate you so much, and I thank you for everything that you've done. And we'll have you back on again, I'm sure.
Yeah, this was so much fun. I feel like we could talk all day, right?
We can talk all day, and I think there's been times where we have talked all day.
Yes.
So
For
thank you,
sure.
Kim, so much. For our listeners, if this resonated with you, if you enjoyed it, if you know a mompreneur that would just be re-energized by this show, please share it with them, like, comment, let us know what you think of this show, and subscribe. You can hit the button below and subscribe. We'd love to have you. Thank you so much. Have a great day.